And welcome to another Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25, the show devoted exclusively to St. Mary's University and its athletic programs. I'm Dean Beckman, joined by Sports Information Director Donnie Netto here on HBC. And Donnie, we're already with the start of the winter sports seasons now. A little bit later on in the program, we'll have on Bill Moore. Bill is the head men's hockey coach for the Cardinals, and he'll join us during the interview portion of the program. Great to have hockey back. Women's hockey is starting this weekend as well. The basketball teams are practicing. That's all starting, and the fall sports are still concluding here too. So.
Yeah, it's really it's a very crazy time of year with the winter seasons beginning and the fall seasons ending. And the nice thing is we're hoping that a couple of our fall teams, their fall seasons will continue on past the regular season. So it's a great time for Cardinal athletics, and we're looking forward to hopefully some exciting conference playoff action. And like you said, both hockey teams kick off this week, and basketball is right around the corner.
Yes, it is. So we have a lot to get to, obviously, on today's program. And we'll begin with the volleyball team, because that's one of our most successful fall sports programs. And the volleyball team battling for the final playoff berth in the MIAC. And the truth of the matter is, Donnie, they take on Carleton on Wednesday night. And so by the time you see this, that game will have already been played. But the fact of the matter is that's a huge game, and it could land the Cardinals a playoff berth, or it could mean that Saturday's contest becomes even more important. And so they could probably, there's a lot of spots they could finish in the conference standings, and so that's how important these last two games are.
Yeah, it's really crazy, and we talk about it all the time with the MIAC, how deep it is, and right now the Cardinals are battling for a playoff spot. They're in a good position, but really a win in one of their last two matches gets them into the playoffs. And so, as you mentioned, Wednesday night's match becomes that much more important. Hopefully, as people are watching this show, they've won on Wednesday night and they're in the playoffs, and Saturdays becomes more of a tune-up for the postseason. But they're playing very well right now. They split their two conference matches last weekend, losing to Bethel 3-1 and then sweeping McAllister 3-0. And so they're ready to go this week. I know talking to Coach Lester, he's excited about what's going on. We've got Senior Day on Saturday, and we always talk about the importance of Senior Day in terms of just emotion and and what that all brings, and should that game mean that much more, it's going to be really exciting at the St. Mary's Gym on Saturday with a lot on the line. So hopefully we can continue to keep things rolling and see what happens.
And Donnie, let's go back to that game last week against Bethel, because that was a terrific matchup. Bethel is one of those teams, they were behind St. Mary's in the conference standings, but not by much. And the fact of the matter is they were sort of an up-and-coming team, a team on the rise. They had been playing very well, and they showed it with that 3-1 victory at St. Mary's. From a Bethel standpoint, everything they did worked. They blocked really well, they passed really well, and I thought that led to a lot of their points. But from St. Mary's standpoint, the Cardinals played well too in that one. In fact, Brandy Blattner, I have never seen, personally witnessed a more dominating volleyball performance than she delivered that night in a 3-1 loss. That shows you how good Bethel played. But she had 31 kills that night. Yeah. She just dominated.
It was crazy. And like you said, Bethel is an up-and-coming team. They were battling a lot of injuries early in the season. Some of those athletes are getting back. And Bethel was one of those teams picked to make the conference playoffs this year. So the expectation was that this was going to be a very good team. So the fact that now that they're getting a little healthier, they are a team that's pretty scary for opponents. And like you said, how can you just sit back and you watch Brandy play and you can shake your head, because you're right, she was that dominant. And I think that she is by far the most fearsome back row player that I've ever seen in my 22 years at St. Mary's. She is as good in the back row at her attacks as she is up at the net, and I've never seen anybody that can just attack like she can from the back, and that gives St. Mary's that added weapon, because it's really tough to block somebody from the back row. So she did a great job. 31 kills in the rally scoring era. That is, as they started counting every point, every serve being a point. That's the most that St. Mary's has ever had in a single match, is 31 kills. So congratulations to Brandy. Third time that she was named MIAC Hitter of the Week. So she certainly was recognized for her weekend. She also had 16 kills on Saturday against McAllister. She had 10 digs against Bethel for a double-double. That's her 12th double-double of the season. So Brandy just continues to motor along. And I think the thing is that she isn't the only weapon that they have. And that's the crazy thing is she had 31 kills, but, you know, there were so many other pieces that have to work in order for her to get those 31 kills. So there's a lot of people who are contributing, maybe not in the stat line, but are certainly doing their jobs to make sure that Brandy gets her kills.
Right, even the threat of the others, especially on the front line, like Molly Urban and a lot of those other frontline players, they help Brandy out when she's attacking from the back row. And I noticed on that Friday, the Wednesday game especially, Friday, the setters really made it a point when the St. Mary's needed a point, when they were falling behind against Bethel, they went to her almost every single time. The setters knew she had the hot hand, and they wanted to feed it, and they did, and it succeeded.
Oh, she is definitely their go-to person. There's no doubt about that. But I think that what you can also see with our setters, with both Brittany and Lillian, is they're making sure that they don't just focus on Brandy, that they make sure to distribute the ball to other people as well, because you can't just focus on Brandy, because sooner or later a team's going to figure out how to stop her. I'm not sure anybody has yet, but you know, they're going to figure out a way to stop her, and so that then Brittany and Lillian have to be able to find that other person to make sure that our offense works. And this year they've both done a great job. Brittany had a very solid weekend with you know, 20 assists against both Bethel and McAllister. So she's playing very well as the junior, and Lillian is right behind her in assists this season. So those two running the 6-2 are doing a phenomenal job.
Carleton and Gustavus left on the schedule. They just need one win out of those two to make it into the MIAC playoffs. Donnie, last week when we talked, men's soccer needed a little help to get to the playoffs. So tell us how the men's soccer team went this past week and where they stand now.
Yeah, they had a tough loss on Saturday against St. Thomas, a 2-0 loss there. But, man, it was one of those games, and I know people say this all the time, it's one of those games that could have gone either way. St. Mary's had 2-3 very good scoring opportunities in the second half and weren't able to convert on them, and it ends up being a 2-0 loss. But they're playing extremely well right now. They've got their last non-conference game against Morris on Wednesday night, and then they've got Carleton at home on Saturday. A huge game on Saturday. You know, as I talked about with the volleyball, it's senior day. It's a winner go home basically for the Cardinals. If they want to get into the postseason, get into that 6-team field, they have to beat Carleton on Saturday. And then still they need some help from the outside, but if they have to take care of their business, or it doesn't matter what happens elsewhere. They've got to get the 3 points against Carleton, and that will get them to 13 points. If everything shakes out, that will tie them with at least St. John's. They hold the tiebreaker over St. John's, so they have a very good chance of getting into the field, but things do have to happen. St. John's has to lose, Hamlin has to lose, and Augsburg has to lose one of their last two. So a lot needs to happen, but they're still right there, and the way they're playing, the Carleton match should be a phenomenal game. Carleton is still battling for a playoff spot, but they're pretty much in right now. So it's going to be a game against a very tough opponent, and they're going to need their best game. They're going to need their seniors to bring their leadership, and hopefully some of that excitement, that momentum from senior day, hopefully they put that on the field as well.
Well, and not only is it senior day with a chance to get into the playoffs, but also it'll be Pete Watkins' last game as head coach. We announced on last week's program that he won't be returning to collegiate coaching, and so they'll want to win for him. So a lot of excitement heading into this last weekend, and really, Donnie, good for the program to have a shot at the playoffs. Regardless of what happens, this has been an improved year, an exciting year, and it's a young team, so a team heading in the right direction.
No question. If they beat Morris, they'll head into Saturday's game with 8 wins. They haven't had 8 wins in 10 years, so it's been a long time since we've had a team that's really kind of on the rise and enjoying some success, and hopefully that can continue. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens once Coach Watkins is gone, because obviously you bring in a new coach. How does that dynamic fit in? How do things kind of flush out? But they're on the rise. This is a team that is very good. They've gotten some great senior leadership this year from their 5 seniors, and there's no question that they're going to be missed next year, because they really have been kind of the foothold that has really kind of springboarded this team into some success. Last year they started it, and this year they've really enjoyed a lot of success, and I think that those 5 seniors really deserve a lot of credit and a huge pat on the back for what they've done. And Saturday's going to be a bittersweet day for them because it will be their last game at Okremovich Field. So win, lose, or draw, it's going to be a kind of a farewell in some respect on Saturday.
Well, and I would think that as St. Mary's looks to hire a men's coach, and it is a national search, the fact that they are improving, they are winning, have a shot at the playoffs, that will hopefully help with the recruitment of a new coach, too.
No question. And I think it will help with the recruitment of student athletes, too. They're going to see that this is a program on the rise, and they are doing things well, and you know, people want to be a part of successful programs. And if we can continue to keep in that positive direction, that's going to help your recruiting as well.
Donnie, the women's soccer team this past week, 3-1 and 2-0 loss, and they too now go into Saturday. It's a home doubleheader for soccer, women's and men's, and they'll have their senior day on Saturday as well.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny when we talk about these all the time. It really is it's kind of a bittersweet time because, you know, the seniors we honor the seniors and you know, recognize them, and I always think that that's so important because they've put in the time at St. Mary's, and I think it's important for them. And I always tell the seniors, you know what, on this day, stop and smell the roses and kind of savor and soak in because it's your day, and you never get that back. You know, once they graduate, it's over. Their collegiate careers are done, and so it's a chance for them to kind of savor and be recognized for what they've done for St. Mary's and for their program, and you know, so you look forward to that day and hope that you can come away with a win because obviously that's a great way to leave your collegiate career, and the Cardinal women would really be a great end to this year and maybe even a springboard into next year if they can come away with a win on Saturday against Carleton.
You know, Donnie, last Friday up on campus, I came up for the volleyball game, but there was also the red and white men's hockey game going on, and I had to do a little bit of a double take too because the first winter sport got underway, and that's swimming and diving. They got their official start last Friday already, so the swimmers and divers in action. That was a home meet at St. Mary's, so tell us about that.
Yeah, they had a duel against Luther. Luther's a very solid swimming program, and I talked to Coach Bartholomew about it, and her thought process was, you know, let's get a competition. They've been practicing since the 1st of October, and that's a lot of training. So as you're nearing, you know, the 21st of October, let's get some competition. Let's go against somebody, you know, kind of get a little competition there. And she saw some really good things, and a lot of the returners did an outstanding job. And we're going to be talking a lot this winter about Grace Van Beest and about Reese Koleski, Shelby Peterson, and then on the men's side, Joe Tonda and Gerards are going to be people that we're going to talk a lot about. And one of the people that maybe we haven't taught, well, we haven't because she's a freshman, but Kizzy Bell on the women's side did an outstanding job. And she'll actually, according to Coach, she'll be one that's going to push Grace. And so, you know, Grace, by far, probably one of the top returners we've had. And she's going to have somebody pushing her all year, which can only make Grace better, which will make Kizzy better because she'll be challenging. And so the prospect is very good there. I think that they're going to continue to improve as the season goes on. And as we get toward the end of February and we start talking about the MIC championships, I think we're going to have people that are going to be into the finals, which is something we haven't had in a number of years. And there are going to be some talented people doing some very good things.
And Donnie, Grace Van Beest, a perfect example of an exemplary student athlete. She won the 100 breaststroke, and you know, she did really well last year and is going to be a leader again for the team, but she's one of the more involved students on our campus. She heads up several organizations, and she's involved in just about everything.
No question, and you're right. I mean, she is the epitome of what a student athlete should be, and all that she does outside of the pool and outside of the classroom, it's one of those people that you don't know how she finds enough time in the day to even sleep because she's always doing something. And that's kind of what Division III athletics is all about, is the ability to be involved. And somebody like Grace is one who you know, is so good for our school and is a great, you know, a great ambassador for Cardinal athletics. And I'm hoping that she just has a phenomenal senior year.
Yeah, so. All right, stay tuned here to the Cardinals Nest. When we come back, we'll bring on Bill Moore, the head coach for the men's hockey team. They get started this weekend. We'll talk to him all about it coming up next here on HBC.
Our prison population has doubled.
You know, our prison system is a disaster.
Fixing the criminal justice system, ending private prisons.
Tonight, a raid by the sheriff is part of a new push to clean up the Clark County Jail.
Why would an innocent person
choose to go to jail?
I wanted to become a better corrections officer.
This will reinforce my own sobriety.
I'm scared that I don't know what I'm getting myself into.
It wouldn't take much to just snap.
HBC GigaWorld is fiber optic, which means there's more capacity for more devices. With HBC GigaWorld, your broadband experience gives you unsurpassed capacity, allowing multiple users in your home to surf, shop, game, and stream all at the same time, with no buffering or lag. HBC GigaWorld, with more bandwidth and reliability than any other provider, giving you the best speed and capacity for your GigaHome experience. Visit hbci.com to learn more. Turn your friends into GigaFriends with HBC and earn up to $50 on each qualifying referral.
Up to $50?
That's right.
More input, please.
When HBC customers refer their friends to sign up for HBC services, they can earn up to $50. If they get 2 friends to sign up for services...
that would be $100?
That's right. Pretty quick with the math there.
Affirmative. We are robots. Math is kind of our thing.
Never would have guessed.
Grab some GigaFriends and start saving today.
It's a new day, and there are things you need to know. Football things.
Know where he's at because he will knock your block off.
Fantasy football things.
His top 10 upside, there I said it.
Non-football things.
I plugged Harry Potter. I've talked about Game of Thrones.
Bring it back to sports.
And things on your mind.
Tweet them to us at GMFB.
Good Morning Football. Monday through Friday at 7, only on NFL Network.
They said Down syndrome. Don't expect a lot. I just said no. John is going to be my child.
My goals is a relationship, and maybe I'll move out on my own.
You can make your life anything you want.
I'm here, I'm alive, I'm human. We have to stick together.
And welcome back to the Cardinals Nest here on HBC TV 25. Dean Beckman, Donnie Netto, and joined now by the head coach for the men's hockey team, Bill Moore. Bill, thanks for joining us on the program. And I have to admit that I sort of feel like a third wheel because between you and Donnie, you could talk hockey easily for 15 minutes here, but I'll get in my share of questioning.
Awesome. Awesome.
So we have hockey starting this weekend. We'll find out more about what you expect from this weekend's MIAC showcase shortly here. But tell us a little bit about the red-white game that you had this past Friday night. We brought it up in the previous segment, and that's a chance for you to see all of the hockey tryouts on the ice, kind of scrimmaging against one another. So give us your thoughts from that scrimmage and kind of what resulted from it.
Well, one of our main goals from that is to get the guys in front of the referees so that we can work on the new rule changes. And there's some very, very significant rule changes and interpretations this year. So we thought it would be very, very practical for us to get a run in before the season started where under the new rules, because they're dramatically different than what we've been playing in the past. So that works out really well. The second thing is when we get down to those cuts that we have to make, putting them in a real game situation is a lot better for us to do the evaluation on. So, and it was fun. There were a lot of students there. I mean, it was just a very, very good night.
And let's talk a little bit preseason now as you're heading into Friday. This team has got a lot of veterans on it. So does that make it easier as you're starting the beginning of the season, or does it really matter because you don't have to add so many new faces to the lineup?
I think it makes it easier. We have great leadership with our upperclassmen, and I won't even just say seniors because we have some great leadership in our juniors as well. So that definitely makes it easier. There's not as much time that you have to drill on systems because they're pretty well aware of what you've done in the past. And to be honest, when you have 5 days of tryouts and 4 days of practice and have to play a game, we're going to keep it pretty simple for the opening weekend. We'll add some more challenging things and more advanced things as we get further along in the season.
You know, can you talk a little bit, you did graduate a few people, but really, to me, probably the most evident absence this year is going to be the absence of Bob Kinney. Or Ben Kinney, sorry, Ben
Yeah.
Kinney, because you know, as your assistant coach, he did a lot of work. Congratulations to him on getting a job with Cedar Rapids with their Rough Riders, but it certainly is going to change things for you.
Dramatically, and I've always been one that was willing to delegate to my assistants and give them a lot to do, because my goal is for each of them to move on. I don't want them to be assistant coaches for their whole life. So Ben had been a finalist for a couple of Division I jobs and did not get them. And when this opportunity came up, I advised him that maybe getting to D1 through the USHL might be a better option than trying to get it through D3 hockey. And so congratulations to Ben. We're very happy for him. The downside of that is it's going to put a lot more pressure on Jay Rezka and myself to get not only our work done, but Ben's work done as well, because at this point we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you hire somebody, you're really limiting your pool of candidates that are available at this time of the year for an incoming season. And if you don't hire, then it's going to be a struggle with the workload and trying to get everything done. But I think the benefit to this year's team is that we are so heavy with juniors and seniors that we could probably get away with it this year a lot easier than we could have in a year where there were a lot more freshmen and sophomores.
So let's talk about this year's lineup. I know I cheated a little bit. I saw the line chart for Friday, but a lot of returners in the forwards, a lot of experience in goal, less in defense. So let's kind of break it down.
Sure.
Let's start from the back out. You've got Phil back, and I know a newcomer in Aaron Davis behind him in goal, and you've got Jake Tugnut and Jacob Hebda. So goaltending-wise, you're pretty solid.
We're very, very excited about our goaltending situation. I think last year it became an Achilles heel for us later in the season, but having Phil back healthy and ready to go, and having Aaron Davis, who's a Division I transfer from Lake Superior State, really solidifies everything. And Jake Hebda's playing much better so far this year, as is Jake Tugnut, who was a freshman last year, and you'd expect him to get better as he gets a little older. So goaltending-wise, we're very, very happy with where we're at.
And let's move up to the defensemen then. I know, obviously led by Mike Mazzano, a senior, has been a regular for, this will be his 4th year now. But defensively, there aren't a lot of names there that I saw that I recognize.
No, we have 4 freshmen in our top 6 defensemen right now, and 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all really close. So we'll do some switching around early in the season to see what we can do with those guys. But yeah, we got a very nice recruit out of Kyle Mee. We got another very nice recruit out of Seth Camras, Joey Maverin. They're going to be regulars right off the bat. And then Alex Tabacco is another freshman who right now is our number 6 guy and is really, really talented. Offensively, he's stronger than he is defensively, but he is really fast and moves the puck really well. So we're excited about our backside, nervous about our backside, because it's gonna take them a while to get some experience. But with Mike Mazzano and Mike Emilio coming back, they'll be great leaders for that younger group. And you know, Austin Arnold, Ryan Charco, they'll battle all the way and might be 5 and 6 as well.
And obviously we'll move up front, and now you can talk about Bob Kinney and not his brother Ben. But you know, with Bob and Jay Heinley and Martin Gruish, you've got your top 3 scorers. That's a lot of points back just in those 3 guys.
No doubt about it. I think if you look at all of the points we scored last year, I think we have 93% of our points back in returning. And at one point last year, we were the leading scoring team in the nation. So we are very, very excited, and we're going to play a very open, exciting offensive style. And the good news is we've got a little bit more solid goaltending back there, so that we can make sure that we don't give up as many as we did.
And then let's talk about this weekend. You've got St. Thomas Friday night, and then Concordia on Sunday up in Blaine at the Super Rink. As a coach, aside from winning 2 games, which everybody wants to do, what do you want to get out of this weekend, these 2 non-conference games against conference opponents?
I want to win 2 games. I think right now this is a team that we want to battle for a conference title. It's a team that we think we have a legitimate chance to go somewhere in the MIAC playoffs. And I think the one thing I want to see out of this is to get some experience for our freshman defensemen. We're going to battle all year long with the good teams, and we'll play anybody. And that's the way it should be. But everything is going to be set up for MIAC playoffs, because even the conference championship you don't get to go to the national tournament if you win the conference championship. You have to win the playoff championship. So our number one goal is to get to national tournament, and so we're going to be doing everything we can to have ourselves peak at the right time so that we can compete in the MIAC tournament to get there.
And you're obviously playing very good teams along the way. You look at your first 4 games, you've got 2 MIAC playoff teams in St. Thomas and Concordia, and you've got Eau Claire and River Falls both ranked in the top 15 this year in the preseason poll. So your first 4 games are a handful. And not to mention, you've got Stevens Point, the defending national champions, later in the season.
Yeah, we definitely are throwing in the fire. I mean, there is no backing down from anybody right now, but I think we have the experience to compete at that level, and if we want to get to that level, we got to play those kinds of teams. And you know, we could play a softer schedule and get 20 wins, but that isn't going to help us to get to the national tournament. And you know, we don't want to just do it once. We want to get to the point where we can be competing for that every single year. And I think we're close to that, but we have to perform. You know, we have to prove it first.
Bill, just a minute left here. You piqued my interest earlier when you talked about all the rules changes, because as a broadcaster, I have to worry about those things. So what would be 1 or maybe 2 that are going to be the most noticeable to the average fan out there?
The most noticeable is going to be hooking and holding. They're really getting towards the NHL standard of you can't touch a player with the puck. They want to open it up. They want to increase scoring. So they want to make sure that bigger, stronger, less skilled players aren't neutralizing the skill of other players, and specifically smaller players. So you're going to see a lot more penalties from the standpoint of a guy goes and sticks his stick in there to get the puck, and they're going to call hooking. Or he slashes his stick a little bit. In the past, they'd let that go. According to what they're telling us right now, they're not going to let that go. So you're going to see a lot more penalties, and games are going to be depending on the special teams play.
All right. Well, Bill, I wish we had more time. We could talk hockey all day, quite frankly. But we'll have you back on the program a little bit later in the season. So good luck this weekend.
Thank you kindly.
All right. Stay tuned here to the Cardinals Nest. Donnie and I will be right back to preview the week ahead and women's hockey as well right here on HBC.
The most exciting, game-defining yards in football. It's NFL Red Zone from NFL Network. Magnificent! Get every touchdown from every game, every Sunday afternoon. And football doesn't stop.
We're covering it like crazy.
On NFL Network, it goes all week.
We got a lot of football. Don't you go away.
Get NFL Red Zone from NFL Network today.
Turn your friends into GigaFriends with HBC and earn up to $50 on each qualifying referral.
Up to $50?
That's right.
More input, please.
When HBC customers refer their friends to sign up for HBC services, they can earn up to $50. If they get 2 friends to sign up for services...
that would be $100?
That's right. Pretty quick with the math there.
Affirmative. We are robots. Math is kind of our thing.
Never would have guessed.
Grab some GigaFriends and start...
Here to wrap things up on the Cardinals Nest, and we just had Bill Moore, the men's hockey coach, on, and Donnie. Now we shift focus, just briefly touch on the women's hockey team. We'll preview them a little bit more in depth next week, but they start this weekend as well.
Yeah, they've got 2 road games against Marion and St. Norbert. Should be a good test for them. And unlike Coach Moore, Coach Manor has a few more spots that he has to fill in his lineup, so it's going to be interesting to see how all of that kind of unveils. He does lose one of his top 2 goaltenders in Tori Herman, so Maria Shields is going to have to probably step up a little more, and Ashley Corcoran as well. She was a freshman last year, so a lot of different pieces that Coach Manor and Coach Moore are going to have to figure out how to put together, and hopefully this weekend will help them as they try and get things going to begin the season.
Right. And I know Greg Moore, Bill's son, but also the assistant women's coach, we had him on earlier, very excited about this year, no question about that. That's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest. Thanks for watching. Tune in again next week right here on HBC.